Shalom, 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 shalom. This is Jaime down here in Medellin, Colombia. And boy, I tell you, I can't wait to get back to the States, kick some ass. Well, listen, folks, and this video here is for all of pages that are in local support groups in the States, for the state that you live in, and then to also join the America Support group, which is of all the states. And that makes it easy for me to, how can I put it? For me to just make one post and everybody gets it instead of having to go down 50 states and post the same thing everywhere. I notice a lot of people, a lot of patrons haven't joined the American Support Group. They're missing, you're missing a lot of stuff that I'm posting in the American Support Group that goes out to everybody, should go out to 100% of everybody. But many of you in the state groups, local support groups, you haven't joined the American Support. All you got to do is do a search for America space support. I put the link many times on all 50 sites. People still don't do it. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit just so we go from there. I've updated the YouTube channel. Okay, very important. Now, the YouTube channel has a lot of stuff on it, a lot of stuff. Okay, why? Well, in a nutshell, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. You think you're not, but you will be. Okay. I've been in this stuff since 1988. 1993, IRS came after me, kicked their ass. I won. We got a letter from them saying we're no longer liable. I don't know. It's now 2021. I do not know what a 1040 looks like. I have no need to go take a look at the IRS website. Doesn't have anything to do with me. End of story. That's simple. Okay. Now, what I've done now is in the YouTube channel, which I'll post a link, I've uploaded Carl Lentz's 503 teaching videos. Some of those videos are a couple minutes long. Some are less than a minute. Some are a couple hours long. All I'm going to say is this about it. I like Carl. I spoke to Carl back in the 1990s. He was considered the expert in relation to search warrants, seizure warrants, etc. He could look at one and within minutes find all the errors in it that made it invalid and help many people in courts where he had evidence thrown out or whatever, etc., because the warrants were invalid. That plain, that simple. If you're in this here because of traffic tickets, CPS, etc., is it possible to just fight this thing with paperwork and never step foot into the court? Yeah, it definitely is. No question about it. But if you're just starting out, and in this arena, I am too kind of, you're going to more likely find yourself being in front of a black dress man wearing a black dress or a woman with her black dress. And if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're saying, and like Carl says, you don't know how to keep your mouth shut, you're going to lose. And you could end up in jail for a couple days, a couple weeks, a month, 6 months, a year. Remember, once you go into there and you get this process started, this ain't a game. They will rip your guts out if they can. It's that simple. Carl's 503 videos are absolutely excellent. He's very entertaining in the way he talks. He's funny at the same time, but he's a straight shooter and he tells it to you how it is. I have watched his 503 videos at least 3 times, all of them, and could be as many as 5 or 6. I basically stopped counting. Now, why do I do that? Because when I go into that courtroom, if I end up going into that courtroom, his stuff has got to be in me. It's got to be me. It's not Carl's not going to be there. Randy's not going to be there. AF is not going to be there. Hopefully, if your state local support group has grown, you're going to have a couple, what we call back in the 1990s, court watchers. Now we've got them for court watchers to do affidavits of the crimes they see and go from there. So if you're in this for the fight, you got to know what you're doing or you're going to get hurt big time, big time. And in about 1993 was when the IRS came after me and took 1 year. They lost, got the letter. And like I said, I've never filed. 1988 was the last time. And when I realized it didn't pertain to me, nothing like a cold Castagna beer. Oh, delicious. Anyway, and then 1993 was when it came after me. That was the first time I'm kind of fighting this, but I did hire a guy, Wayne Benson out of Arizona. He did all the paperwork. It was like, I don't remember, it was 9 or 19 envelopes that went, they went to the Queen of England, the Crown, Treasury Department, IRS, Department of Health and Human Resources, Social Security, the President, and many other people. I don't remember them all at all. All I did was sign the documents. I didn't read them. And anyway, won, and that's the end of the story. In about 1995, a year later, at the latest 96, because in 97 I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So in 1995, 96, I was arrested by a lieutenant police officer in the town of Chester, Virginia, which is kind of like a suburb, little town of Richmond, Virginia. He arrested me for serving him some papers from another patriot in which they had just taken his van for no tags, no driver's license, and all that. And he lost that van. But we were doing so many things wrong back then. We didn't know nothing about affidavits, affidavit of status, affidavit of facts, notice of claims, bar grievances, mail fraud, judicial complaints, state and federal criminal complaints against judges. We didn't know any of that. The only person that came close was Robert Fox. Robert Fox kicked ass, and they tried many times to kill him, and he finally did die at a young age, with 60s. It's got to be young. I'm 69. I consider myself very young, so go from there. So anyway, in a nutshell, cop arrested me because I served him. I told him if he did that, I was going to take him in front of a federal judge. He laughed. He sent out a goon who then arrested me. They held me for about 8 hours. Within 2 weeks, I had him in front. I didn't go to state court. I didn't go to local court. I took him straight to the federal court. Title 42. I remember that. The judge asked. The judge asked me. I said, he said, Mr. Brandon, why are you here? And what is this with the town of Chester? I remember I said to the judge, Judge, you're not going to believe what they did. He goes, really? I said, oh, as a matter of fact, I think you're going to be pissed off. Really? What did they do to you? Well, Judge, I went as a process server. I served this lieutenant. He handled the documents. When I told him after he touched them, I said, you've been served. He said, what? No, I haven't. And I said, yes, you have. And he took the documents and he threw them on the floor, and right inside the, where you come into the police stations, to the jail part. Oh, no, not the jail part. They got the window with the glass, and that's how you talk to a police officer there, whatever. And he said he threw them on the floor, and he told me that if I didn't pick them up, that he'd have me arrested. And I told him, I said, really? You can do that? I said, I don't know, but I guess so, but then, we'll see what happens. And he said, yep, you pick them up. I said, look, what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to do an affidavit that I served you with these legal documents for an individual that asked me to serve you. And that's what's going to go into the court record. As far as the documents, they're there. You do whatever the hell you want with them. I don't care. You can set them on fire for all I care. You've been served. End of story. And I walked out, Judge. And then within a minute, at the most, if not 30 seconds, this cop comes out and he says, "Hey, were you just in here?" I said, "Yeah, what about it?" He said, "You're under arrest." I said, "Really? You can do that?" He said, "Yeah, you're under arrest." I said, "For what?" I think he said something like disturbing the peace or something. I don't remember. And so the judge, federal judge, he goes, "That's what happened?" He said, "Yeah, that's exactly what happened." And so he turned to the police, the lawyers for the town of Chester, and I'll never forget his words. They were basically, "Are you telling me that the town of Chester, this policeman had this man arrested for just serving him legal papers? Is that what you guys did to him? And you held him for 8 hours or whatever?" And the lawyers got all mumble jumble, and the judge said to him, "You guys get the hell back and go back in another room right now, and you settle as to how much money you're going to pay Mr. Burbano. And if you don't come across a settlement, believe me, I will." And boy, the attorneys, they couldn't say anything. Oh, okay. And we went to the back room, and I got a small little settlement that I bought me a beautiful, van that was less than a year old, 97 Nissan Quest Gold van with all the bells and whistles. Nice gift from the town of Chester. Now, but you got to understand in this, I'm sharing this with everybody because you really need to kind of self-evaluate yourself. What gave me the strength to be able to do that and not take this shit from these people? In 97, from the town of Chester, 93 from the IRS, and then in 95 was when they arrested me for contempt of court in the divorce. I told the judge in front of about 400 people that he was disqualified. He kept coming after me after you're disqualified. Now, I'm not going to go into the principle of disqualification, voce viva, but anyway, the point is, he put me in jail. We went with writ of habeas corpus to Supreme Court of Oklahoma, not the local court. They got served, but we went right to the Supreme Court. And I think it was on the second re-modification, re-edit. Some mistakes were found in the writ. The first one was not accepted. I think it was the second one, but we might have been 3 that we did before we got it right. And by we, I don't mean me. I'm in jail. I'm talking about my people, my group, and some people in California. See, that's where groups come into. If your group isn't growing, if your group in your state is not talking to each other and getting to know each other, what the hell are you there for? You're not going to do anybody any good. Yeah, you'll probably come at the very end. I got to go to traffic court. I need something. Hell with that. You think I'm going to go? I wouldn't go. What for? You're not doing anything. You just, I'll be frank with you. Those of you that are in the groups that are doing nothing, you ought to just get the hell out of the group. I don't see your purpose there. I tell everybody, in the groups, hey, listen, you should at least introduce yourself when you come into the group. Say what city, town, pueblo, where you are. If you're in Tulsa, for example, or you're in Wagoneer, or you're in Skiatook, Collinsworth, Oklahoma City, Moore. So people in the Oklahoma group get an idea as to where you are, especially if you happen to be nearby. You can start to get together for coffee, chat, get to know each other. But I notice most groups that have, at least 3 members. I'm a member in every group because I'm the administrator. So the administrator's always, but I talk to a lot of people. But most people in the groups, I notice, I watch, and they're, California's got 25 to 30 the last time I looked. And they should already be having 1 or 2 Zoom calls. Nothing. Same thing with some other states. Should be getting together for Zoom calls. I've asked for a Zoom call for Oklahoma. Nobody wants to move in Oklahoma. It's not that. I already realize that more likely I'm going to have to do this when I get to Oklahoma. And believe me, when I get to Oklahoma, my group will grow. The Oklahoma group will grow. It's that simple. But you know, for the moment, over all the groups, there's like 2 or 3 groups. New York, they talk to each other. Some of them, I think Massachusetts also, and some of them. I can't remember what. There's one group that only has 2 members plus me, and those 2 members are chatting all the time. They chat more than the groups in California that have close to 30 members. I go, wow. Now these 2 here, I think it's Massachusetts. I mean, they want to get somewhere, you know. But anyway, what can I say? Now, if you end up in court, you got to know what you're going to do, or they are going to hang you. I've uploaded Carl Lentz's 503 videos. It took me like 4 or 5 days because I would reach the limit on YouTube and they would block me for 24 hours of uploading more videos. I've probably spent 30 hours, maybe 40 to 50, in arranging them, putting them in order so that when you go there, it starts playing from number 1 to, actually the first one is from 1 to 56 videos is the first one. Teachings. Like I said, some are maybe a minute, minute and a half, some are 5 minutes, some are 10, some might be an hour. But anyway, they're in order. You go to the playlist and you start number 1 and go to 56. The second one is from 57 to 100, if I remember right. You go there and you go. They're in order for a purpose, folks. Because they tell a story in a lot of cases. The videos. Carl is talking about a CPS case, and so it goes from one to the other, explaining what happened, this, that, what he did, how he got the children back, and he's gotten many children back for families. Carl kicks ass in court. They can't beat him. The state, well, from the federal and state level, have not been able to beat Carl. They did back in the 90s, or when he got involved, which I don't remember if it was the 80s or whatever, when he first started, just like any of us. But, you know, he didn't stay down and he just started reading, studying. And boy, today, they can't touch him in court. He kicks their ass every time that he has to go there, which is usually traffic now and all that. Well, see, you got to get there. And most of all, you got to get the courage to walk in there. I mean, when I was charged with direct contempt of court, folks, let me tell you something. I had the courage and all that. I mean, I told the judge after I disqualified, he kept coming at me. I told him he can't do a thing to me. He's disqualified. He's got to get the fuck off the bench. And I did use that word. And I told him, go in the back and go to the bathroom and clean the shit off the toilets in front of 400 plus people. You could have heard a pin drop. They must have been thinking in the back, the deputies are going to kill this guy. They're going to kill him. They're going to shoot him. But you know what? I can't handle injustice. And I have no problem going to jail if I have to. It's that simple. And when you do this stuff, you got to go in there with that attitude. So how do you build it? Through getting knowledge. You start with Carl's videos, number 1, and you go all the way to 503. I've got Robert Fox's videos on there. You start, I got 6 videos of him. Well, number 1, and you listen to number 6. Then you go, I got, who else? AF's videos, teachings. You go there and you start with his, and you look at and you listen to everything. And you got to do this over and over, folks. You know, because if you don't do that and you end up in front of one of these black dressed individuals, okay, in other words, you failed in attempting to not appear by special appearance. They have you physically there and you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what they're, you know, they say something and it's not what you think. It's a whole different, like when I go in a court, I am an idiot. Yep. I'm an idiot. Now go find out what idiot means in the rules of civil procedure. And believe me, when you do find out what an idiot means, you're going to want to be an idiot when you're in that courtroom. But you've got to know what to do. So there's a lot of teaching videos on the playlist. There's AFs, like I said, Carl Lentz, Robert Fox. Give me a moment. Let me take a look. I'm just trying to remember. David Straight. Okay, got his on there. Many, many, many videos. I mean, there's probably 800 videos in total. Ron Gibson on land patents. Okay. Uh, who else? Who else have I got on here? Just, I got so much. Uh, Christopher James and foundational videos. He's up in Canada. Okay. I've got, let's see what else. David Strait, Robert Fox, Carl Lentz, Ron Gibson, Peggy Hall, which she's got some really good stuff on how to handle employers. As a matter of fact, I'm working on some paperwork for Rico in relation to that. A casino didn't want him going in because he wasn't wearing a mask. We're going to be, Peggy's done a lot of the research that we're going to put into the affidavit of facts. Okay. And we're going to hang these guys. Okay. And so I just ordered the state of Oklahoma documents, or I should say legal research concerning masks and vaccines and lockdowns that Peggy's done for every state. Cost me $20. Wish it didn't cost me anything, but got to do it. Now, why am I doing it? Let me share with you what I'm doing. See, I plan on winning, not losing. Okay, it's that simple. So what am I doing? Let me share with you. My son works at American Airlines. American Airlines, they just have a mask policy at the moment. But I know that they're going to be coming with a jab mandate for all employees. How do I know that? Because they are owned by globalists, the elitists up there at the top, who are using the for genocide. Okay, so I know, and not that, but United Airlines in these last 8, 9, 10 days, or 7 or 6 or whatever, they just came out as the first major airline to make it mandatory for the ow, okay, and so I know American is going to be right behind. So what we're doing is we're going to set up American. I'm preparing a document with nothing but questions, explaining that in a nutshell, and it'll come from my son, that he's asking these questions so that if American ever makes it mandatory, he's going to have the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to say yes or no. Okay? As you and I both know, the 130 million Americans that have taken the so far, they didn't do any research. You don't realize that by 2025, we're expecting 50 to 100 million Americans to be dead, incapacitated. So anyway, let's keep going. So we're going to ask a whole bunch of questions. For example, does my health insurance with American Airlines cover for life any treatments or things that I may get because I end up with a heart problem, this, that, or whatever? Is my health insurance with American going to cover me forever? Because it is forever that I've got this in the event it happens. Is American, if I end up being incapacitated that I cannot do my job as a mechanic, is America because of the ow? Okay, is American Airlines going to pay me my monthly check with all raises and benefits, etc., for the rest of my life because I'm now incapacitated, in bed, paralyzed? Need to know. So got about, I don't know, 15 to 20 questions, and then we're going to take some of Peggy's stuff, edit it into make another document or make it a part of this document, etc. And then my son knows that under no circumstances does he quit. He makes America, in other words, he says, no, I'm not taking that. Ow, ooh, ow, it hurts. I'm not taking it. He's going to force American Airlines to fire him. Ooh, I told my son, mucho dinero, mucho money, because we're going to set him up. We're going to set him up for the suit. Or what happens is American Airlines recognizes they can't fire him because they'll have a lawsuit in their hands. And so he keeps working while all his fellow, whatever, buddies, they end up getting fired, or they quit, or they take the ow, ooh, ow. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So we're going to set them up. Working on that. Kick ass. I'm looking forward to going back to Oklahoma. I'm looking forward if there's mask mandates. I can't go into a restaurant. That restaurant's going to pay me mucho dinero. Going to be ready to kick ass. Period. Okay. This is what I'm doing. Now, I'm busy and I'm willing to help people here and there, but I'm going to be outright frank with you. Can't do it for free. You need help, we can talk about it. I know a lot about some stuff, and about the stuff I don't know nothing about, I'm going to tell you right up. For example, overall, I don't know much about Title 42s, even though I want a Title 42 lawsuit, but that paperwork was prepared for me by a fellow patriot in Oklahoma, in the Tulsa area, if I remember correctly, I think, or the guys in California, one or the other. So, a question, goes out. You've got to watch these videos from Carl, Robert Fox, David Straight. You've got to get the knowledge. It's got to become a part of you. It's that simple. I put them up there, spend a lot of time on them, etc., but they're now set in there. They're perfect. I've deleted the ones that were combined. It was like from 100 to 150, and all of them were back to back to back, but you didn't see the different topics of each of the 50 because they were all combined. Here, when you're watching one, you're able to see what the main teaching, let's say, what is being discussed, it's about on that video. And I thought that was better. I've already deleted the ones that had them all combined. I got rid of that playlist. It's not good. It won't do the job. Okay. Even for myself, when I was listening to him, I go, what's the subject matter of what he's talking about? And I couldn't tell. So that's why I decided to upload 503 videos individually instead of 10 videos, which had them all compiled and put together as one. And this helps me out, and it naturally helps you out. Okay, so again, I said, if you're in the state group, fantastic. If you're not in the America support group, you're missing out. Now, I am going to post this video on all the groups, okay? And, it's not my responsibility to grow your group. You in Massachusetts and New Jersey, Texas, whatever, you need to grow your group. Invite friends, etc. I just brought in a realtor. I'm planning on using to buy the house in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he's coming in. I'm red pilling him. And he's waiting to watch these the playlist. He sees what's happening. He's not with the ow, ooh, ooh, and all his friends, many family members are all jumping on him because he won't kill himself with the ow, ooh, ow. And he knows that most of his friends and all that, within 2 years, a lot of them going to be gone or incapacitated, major issues for life. He ain't going there. I told him, I said, him and I are going to be great friends working together on a lot of stuff when I get back to Oklahoma. No question about it. Really good guy. We've really hit it off in talking about these issues. So we go from there. Okay, so the playlist, it's there. I'm going to put the link here in the video, on the video, blah, 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 here below in the information and post it, so that you can go to the playlist and watch Carl from 1 to 503 in order and go from there. Okay, nothing more to say. Have a good one. Shalom, shalom.